You can say, I'm returning to myself. I honor the parts of me that I neglected. It's your turn. I give myself permission to come back. And this one is my favorite. I welcome the truest version of me with love. This is the restorative space where body, mind, and spirit meet in truth. From tension to tenderness, we explore how to heal, feel, and return home to ourselves. Welcome back to the restorative space where we pause and breathe and ease back into ourselves with love and intention. I am so happy to be here with you today. I'm happy that you're here with me today. As we continue on with the month of December, in the month of December, we are in our Renewal series. As I mentioned before, the month of December is usually a month where we're rushing because we just came from one holiday and we're going into another holiday, and then we're going into the new year and so on. But now, here in the restorative space, we've decided to do things just a little differently. And what we've decided to do is slow down, reflect, and renew ourselves before the beginning of the year, or at least learn how to renew ourselves and walk right into it in the beginning of the year, which is what the Renewal series is all about. We are going into episode 2. Episode 2 is called The Return, coming back to yourself after a hard year. Now, just a couple of things that I'd like to mention before we jump into our return episode. Please don't forget that you can always find the Restorative Space on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other platforms. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Let others know all about us. We really appreciate it. And as usual, before we move forward, we are going to do a little breath work. And just as a reminder, that breath work looks just a little bit like this. We are going to inhale for 3 seconds. We are going to hold for 3 seconds and then exhale for 3 seconds. And while doing this, we will be very intentional. And what I mean by intentional is when you are inhaling peace. During the hold, you are holding space for yourself. And on the exhale, you are exhaling any worry, doubt, or whatever that's holding you back. Let's begin. Inhale and exhale. Again, inhale and exhale. Wonderful. All right. I want you to settle in, get some water, get some tea, get ready to listen, get ready to reflect, and get ready to return. Return to yourself. Again, this episode is coming back to yourself after a hard year. So after everything that you've been through this year, the healing, the growing, the surviving, and the thriving, the holding it all together, your spirit is saying, oh man, I want to come back home. I want to remember who I am. I want to come back to me. And today, we're doing exactly that. We're doing it together, gently, softly, honestly. We're always honest with ourselves. So settle in, take a deep breath, and let's return. home to us. A lot of times, as we're walking into a healing space or we're walking in our healing journey, we wonder, how did we even get here? How did we drift away from ourselves in the first place? Most of us don't lose ourselves in one big moment. We lose ourselves drip by drip, step by step, situation by situation. We drift through caring for others, but not ourselves, choosing responsibility over rest, saying yes when we want to say no, holding emotions we never had space to release, or we never should have been holding on to in the first place, playing roles we never asked for, and we've been surviving through seasons that we've never got a chance to process. And slowly, quietly, almost without noticing, we distance ourselves from our own spirit. We become someone who functions but doesn't feel, who gives but doesn't receive, and that is a big one. We've talked about learning how to receive. It's foreign for so many of us, including me. We become someone who just shows up. We don't have that old shine about us that we used to have, that glow. And so returning is the shift from performing life to actually living life. It's the moment that you say, I miss me. I miss who I used to be. And the great news is you don't necessarily have to go back to who you used to be. You can create who you are now or who you want to be, who you've always wanted to be, who you've always wanted to be. And so returning to yourself is not about going back to who you used to be. Like I said, it's about coming back to who you truly are underneath all of the layers that life has put on you. Returning home can feel like remembering your joy. Mm, Remember what happiness feels like. Reconnecting with your intuition because you know when something is off. You know when you are off and you used to act on it. But then you started performing and you started doing things that made other people happy. You know, the people pleasing. Returning can feel like honoring your needs again, trusting yourself again, choosing what aligns with you and your heart, not what exhausts you. And then feeling safe enough to be honest with yourself, feeling safe enough to be honest with others about who you truly are and what you truly want or don't want. Returning is a homecoming, a reunion with your soul, a reclaiming of your identity. It is you choosing yourself after months and years of being everything to everyone else. And that is one of the most sacred parts of renewal. Stepping into it, which is what we are practicing the entire month of December. And so I want you to reflect on this year. You don't have to go back super far right now. You don't have to do a deep, deep dive. Let's reflect on this year and what has happened. And what we're going to do is we're going to reflect on where did I lose myself? So let's take a moment together, okay? If you're able to, place your hand over your heart. You can do it even while you're laying down. Breathe slowly, intentionally. And I want you to ask yourself, Where did I lose myself this year? Was it in overworking, overgiving, overthinking, overdoing all of it? What part of me has been silent or neglected? My creativity. Did I stop acting on it? My rest. Has it become shorter? My confidence. Do you remember what it feels like to stand tall or to be firm? And my joy. When was the last time that you just threw your head back and laughed because you had joy? What version of me is calling me back? Is it the softer side of me, the playful me, the grounded me, the healed me? Now let the answers rise without judgment. Just witness them. Just be aware of them because awareness is actually the beginning of return. And just sit in them. And if you're journaling, go ahead and write those things down. You don't necessarily have to answer them right now. If you're just reflecting, come on back to it when you're ready to tackle it one question at a time. And let's go ahead and move into how to return back to yourself. It's anything that you want to be successful in, it requires intention. Returning requires intention, not perfection. You don't have to perform. You don't have to feel all the pressure because this is between you and you. No pressure. And I'm going to guide you into gently coming back to yourself. And we're going to go through a few things, a few steps that you can take for your return. The first one is reconnect with your truth. Ask yourself, and ask yourself these daily, what do I need? What exactly do I need from me? What do I want? Because you do have desires, and you're allowed to have those desires fulfilled. And then, what feels like me? As we were in our people pleasing mode, we've learned how to feel good from breadcrumbs or from just the little things that people give us or the little breadcrumbs and things that we give to ourselves. But how did that really make us feel? Uh, Were you feeling like yourself when you was receiving that? So ask yourself, what exactly feels like me? Number two, restore your boundaries. We've talked about this before, and it's so important that it'll probably be sprinkled into a lot of things that we talk about. Restore your boundaries. Every time you protect your peace, you return to yourself. Number three, rebuild small joys. The tiny joys you abandoned this year. Sitting out on the porch at dusk, drinking tea, enjoying the sunset, or that little quick drive that you took when you weren't rushing to get home from work. You just took a little time for yourself. The tiny joys. Number four, slow down enough to hear yourself. Silence is not empty. It's where your spirit speaks to you. And I'm sure right about now, your spirit has a lot to say. It's been waiting on you to listen. So sit in silence. Number 5, relearn self-trust. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Honor what you feel and follow what lights you up, not what others think you need to have or not what you think you should do to look a certain way in front of everybody else, but do what lights you up. And then just remember, returning is a daily decision to stop abandoning yourself. Daily. It's a daily practice. And some days you're going to have it a little better than others, which is okay. That's the way it's supposed to be. And because of that, here's a few affirmations that you can say to yourself to help. You can say, I'm returning to myself. I honor the parts of me that I neglected. It's your turn. I give myself permission to come back. And this one is my favorite. I welcome the truest version of me with love. And then you give yourself a big hug and you say, welcome home. Welcome home. And oh, you're going to feel the warmth and the joy and the love that comes from you to you. That same love that you give to others, you're about to feel it for yourself. Now, I want to move into a practice, the weekly practice that we're going to have for this return episode. And it is called One Thing That Feels Like Me. Every day, you're going to choose one thing that reconnects you to yourself. Only you know what that is. So I suggest writing down about 10 things, definitely at least 7, because there's 7 days in a week, right? And you're going to do this daily. Some of the things that you can choose from is like playing your favorite music or sitting in silence or stretching because, a lot of us claim we're going to stretch and then we don't. We just get up and go. Journaling, saying yes, saying no, getting home in time to cook something that you love, going for a walk without your phone, as long as that is safe, ladies and gentlemen, as long as that is safe, lighting a candle or just sitting there with a warm cup of tea. Whatever it is, at least one thing every single day. Because these small acts, they bring you back home. And that's what we're trying to walk into, right? We're trying to return back home. And that's what this renewal series is all about. No pressure, just return. I want to thank you for spending this time with me in the restorative space. I hope today felt like a gentle return, at least the start, the beginning of a gentle return, a coming home to the woman, to the man that you truly are beneath all of the noise from this year. Next week, we move into episode 3 of the Renewal series, which is called Exhale, letting go of pressure, perfection, and emotional weight. A deep but very necessary release before the new year begins. As a reminder again, you can always find the restorative space at YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, other platforms. Just look for the restorative space and we'll be right there. We'll be right there. Again, I want to thank you for being here. It is always a pleasure spending time with you. And until then, just please remember, you are allowed to choose yourself again. You are allowed to return home to yourself. And you, my friend, are allowed to be you. Thank you. Until we meet again, right here at the restorative space, I wish you peace and joy.
Thank you for joining the Restorative Space with your host, Sandy Rose. If today's time together offered clarity or calm, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so more people can discover this space. Until next time, stay grounded and stay well.